Welcome to the Mompreneur Show. I am your host, Alicia. It is an honor to get to spend this time with you. I am so honored that you are here, and I cannot wait to dive into today's topic with you. I think it's going to be really, really helpful for us as mompreneurs. So let's dive in. Have you ever felt like all the things you should tackle in a day can leave you spinning and feeling like you aren't sure if you successfully showed up in any one particular area of your life for that day? Like you don't know if you actually achieved enough in any area of your life for the day. I have a feeling I'm in good company when I share that that's how my days used to feel. I was like, wow, I don't know if I was a good enough mom, a good enough wife, a good enough business owner, mompreneur, whatever. Like, I moved the needles forward, but I don't know if I actually moved it far enough forward in any one area of my life. And I would just kind of end each day feeling like, am I doing this right? And the answer is I needed to make some adjustments, like just being really real. As mompreneurs, we wear a lot of hats and we can have a lot of things that we are juggling all at once. I can't juggle. I can't even fake juggle. Anyways, trying to balance between these things seems to be an uphill battle that leaves us feeling spread too thin. The reality is that balance is not a healthy or realistic goal. And what we really need to do is to look for harmony in our lives. This idea that everything should be balanced, it's like I can't spend equally in any one day, spend the same amount of time being a mom and and an entrepreneur and a wife and have time for myself. Like I can't spend equal times on any of that and have it all be in balance. That's just not a realistic thing. But I can find a harmony that ebbs and flows through all of that. So let's talk about what harmony looks like. Like I just said, it does not look like time equally spent in each arena of our life. Because the truth of the matter is that there are times when one area demands more attention than another. In fact, as I wrote this podcast and was planning it out, I had to keep taking breaks so that my daughter could read to me. I got to keep taking breaks so that my daughter could read to me. Because while I was taking time to work, I was also taking moments to prioritize her and show her that she was valuable to me and important to me, more so than the work that I was doing. And so I was finding a harmony between it where I would work for a little bit and then listen to her read for a little bit and then write a little bit more and then listen to her read a little bit more because that was really important to her and where she was at in her learning process with reading. Harmony can look like having a set list of priorities and giving your attention to these things in their order on that list. So for me, I have my faith, my husband, my daughter, and then my business. And how I do this is I wake up early to spend time with God first because he's first on my list. And so I make sure that I'm putting him first in each and every day because he's important to me. After that, my general method of operations for the day is to get on the same page with my husband about what needs done and what I need for the day and what he needs for the day, and then come up with a plan to help us meet those needs. If he needs time to edit a video, then I come up with how I can support him in that. Does he need quiet and time and space? Then Torla and I are going to go do something. If I need time to record, then we come up with a plan for how to do that. At the time of this recording, Torla is in bed, Michael is out doing some work on his phone, and I am in our room podcasting. But we work together to figure out how to make all of our dreams and our goals and our priorities happen. Then we get on the same page first, and then we start our day. And as we tackle work, remember that our family comes before our work. So if he needs my attention for something, he gets it. If my daughter needs my attention for something, she gets it. Now, do we always work this way? No. When we have a deadline or when we're recording or if I'm on a coaching call or whatever, we make space to make our work a priority. So if I need to record a podcast, we make space to make sure that it's going to be quiet while I'm recording. So earlier today, I was doing some recording. Michael and Torla left and they went and ran some errands. And then I let them know when they could come back. Right now, we made sure that Torla was in bed and asleep, and that way the whole house can be quiet so that I can have time and space to record. But I find pockets of time where we can do that, and we make sure that we can create that time in that space. And it can be a challenge for us. We travel full time. I don't have a formal office or a recording studio. And so we have to kind of play with and tweak what works. It can be hard to get some alone space in here. We live in a really quiet space. So sometimes, not when I'm recording, but sometimes when I need to work and I need a quiet space, I go sit outside in our truck and I go work there. Or sometimes I just sit outside. Sometimes I go to a coffee shop and Michael and Toralei will go off on an adventure so that I can get some work done. We just have to figure out what that balance is and what it looks like. The other thing that we do, and this happens when we plan out our day, is that we schedule out blocks of time. So if you aren't practicing schedule blocking, you absolutely should be. I love schedule blocking. So what does that look like? So when we plan out our priorities for the day, like I said, we have kind of get on the same page at the beginning of the day. We travel full time. We have a YouTube channel that's dedicated to that. So that's one of our priorities, is to get out and see the areas that we're in and document that. My husband does all of our editing, and then he also has 2 other businesses that he does as well. We homeschool our daughter, and so we figure out what it looks like for homeschooling, whether I'm going to do it or he's going to do it, so we continue to make that a priority, because it's really important that she is getting her learning in, because that's the season of life that she's in, and we need to honor that season for her. And then I also have my coaching business. I do this podcast and YouTube channel. And then I have other businesses that I do as well. I work with a natural health and wellness company that is amazing. If you have not checked out our stuff yet, you've got to check out the show notes. But we juggle a lot in our days. We really do. We have a lot of plates that are spinning. And each of us is going to have our own ways for prioritizing what we need to do for projects and business. We have developed a method of operations that helps us to move towards our goals daily. So this is what our ideal day looks like. Notice I said ideal. So an ideal day for us is that we have breakfast together as a family. Then in the next block of time, I do homeschool with Toralei while Michael works and he gets some editing done. Then in the next block of time, I get time to work while Michael does a project or he goes and does something with Toralei. Then we have lunch together. Then we say, is there anything we need to wrap up from the morning and get done? Any loose ends we need to tie up? Then we go and explore, check out the local area where we're filming and capture stuff for our YouTube channel. Then we have dinner together. Then we have family time, dedicated family time where we're hanging out, we're playing games, we're playing. Sometimes we're watching a movie because that's real life. Sometimes we all just need to kind of check out for a little bit and snuggle. And then we put Toralei to bed. And then Michael and I either hang out or we get some work done. And as often as possible, that is how we structure our days. That gets thrown off all the time. Sometimes we have a travel day, and so we don't get any of that stuff done, or we don't accomplish most of it because we're packing everything up and moving from one place to another. That's the full-time RV life. Or sometimes we're in an area that has a lot to do and see, and so we go and we spend an entire day doing stuff. Or sometimes one of us has a ton of work we need to get done, and so one of us spends the entire day working while the other one hangs out with Toralei and does all of the things. Homeschool, projects, sightseeing, going for walks, whatever it might be. Is your schedule going to look like mine? No, nor should it. It should look like what serves and meets your needs and your goals as a family. Your husband might work. Your kids might go to school. You might have the entire school day to focus on projects and get work done. In so many ways, I envy that schedule. And that's not to say that you don't have a lot on your plate, because I absolutely know that you do. But then you're able to say, okay, while my husband is at work and my kids are at school, I'm going to use this block of time for this project. I'm going to use this block of time to work on my house. I'm going to use this block of time to, get stuff taken care of for the kids or run errands or whatever it might be. And you're able to structure it in that way. You might have a day job and then you work your business in the evenings or into the night. You might have a baby and you're just trying to keep your head above water. Whatever your day looks like, whatever is on your plate, find a way to create harmony and balance. I think it's good to have an ideal day schedule, but then absolutely recognize that ideal does not mean has to happen. Ideal does not mean should happen. Ideal means when everything is going perfectly, which it often will not, this is how I would like to spend my time, so that you have a loose structure. And I'm saying this for those of you who are like, if I create an ideal day schedule and it doesn't happen that way, my mental space is going to go spiraling. My emotional space is going to go spiraling. I am just going to spiral. No, that is not what this ideal day schedule is for. If you feel that way, then you've missed the purpose of it. The purpose of it is you have a lot of things spinning. It is really hard sometimes to make sure that we are meeting our priorities in the order that we want to meet them in. And so when we create that ideal day schedule, we recognize I need to spend quality family time. Quality family time. Not sitting there, everybody's on their devices scrolling. Quality time together. I need to make sure that I am spending time on my business. I need to make sure that I'm carving out time to do the things that are important. So there's endless scenarios that are going to throw that completely haywire. Life happens, and that just needs to be the norm, and it needs to be okay. It's going to happen. It's just there to give you a structure to work off of on a normal, things aren't going crazy day. Okay, if your kids are sick, it's going to throw that off. If you're sick, it's going to throw that off. If extra errands come up, it's going to throw that off. And that's okay. It needs to be okay. All right. I'm not telling you how to structure your day. I'm just giving you an example of how I structure mine so that you can see how it works, how schedule blocking can work, and how you can get on the same page with your husband to make sure that you are getting the time and the space that each of you needs. So that's how we do it in our family. When my daughter was an infant, I made a point of making the most of nap times. So I had a plan for nap times. So during one of her naps, I would nap because I was exhausted. So one of her naps, I knew that was my nap time. And so I was going to put her down, lay down immediately and go to sleep because that was my nap time. And I prioritized getting extra rest. So I was not looking at my phone. I was not responding to emails. I was not cleaning my house. I was not working my business. That nap was my nap time as well. No other tasks could be done. Then during another nap, I would clean. And I would clean as quickly as I could to maximize that time. So one nap was my nap time. One nap was my cleaning time. And then during any other naps that she would take during the day, I would work on my business. And I made sure that I had things prepped so that as soon as she was down, I could jump right into action. So I had my workspace, my tasks, my water, everything ready to go so that all I had to do was sit down and get to it. Literally, I would have my glass of water sitting there. I would have everything set up and laid out because I could do that while she was playing or whatever. Like I could make sure that everything was set up and ready while she was awake so that as soon as she was asleep, I could dive right in. So you can do this. No matter what season of life you're in, you can make this happen. You just have to structure it and be realistic about what's going on and then set those time blocks, set those priorities. They're going to be really personal to you and they're going to be personal to your goals. There's a few universal things that we all need to do. Number one is we need to put God first in all things. And that is non-negotiable. It is the single most important thing that you can do. Matthew 6:33 tells us to seek first God's kingdom and his righteousness, and then all things will be added unto you. The key here is to seek him and his righteousness first. There is a promise of a blessing here. If you have time for nothing else in your day, do this. I get it. You're not working on your business. I get it. You've got goals that you want to reach. But the fundamental truth is that none of that will happen without God. So seek him first. And as you start to thrive in this routine, you may just find that you start to have time for more and more things. Always seek God first. The second thing is that you need to get really clear on your goals. What are you working towards? Proverbs 29:18 tells us that without a vision, people perish. We need to have a vision and know what we are working towards. Where do you want to go? What is the big goal? How will you get there? What are the smaller goals that will get you to the bigger goal? Now break those down. Ideally, you want to be breaking your goals down into 90-day goals. So I want you to sit down and I want you to determine a set of goals for 90 days from now. And then in 30 days, I want you to check in and see, how am I doing? I now have 60 days to reach that goal. I'm 30 days in. Where am I at? Do I need to ramp things up because I'm not on target to hit that goal? Am I doing really well and maybe I need to up that goal? Where am I at? And check in every 30 days. So you're going to check in at 30 days, at 60 days, and then at 90 days, you're going to set new goals for the next 90 days. And every 90 days, I want you to do this. I want us to work our goals in 90-day increments. This is a much more manageable thing. If 90 days feels overwhelming to you, then do a 30-day goal. Where do you want to be in 30 days? Check in at 10 days, at 20 days, and then 30 days. But ideally, I want us to work on this 90-day time frame because it gives us a chance to really give something a shot, to really try something, and then to be able to say at 90 days what worked, what didn't work, how do I need to set my goals differently for the next 90 days? And it gives us a good time period to be able to actually accomplish something even with the ebbs and flows of life. So again, 90-day goal time frames is ideal. I also want you to create a daily schedule that will help you take steps towards your goals. The best way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time. The best way to reach your goals is to take intentional and daily steps towards your goal. Steadily get closer every day. You can't give up. The only way to fail, this is number 4, you can't give up. The only way to fail is to quit. If you keep working on it and keep taking steps towards it, you will eventually get there. It's not a race, and you can't compare your journey to anyone else's. You can't set unrealistic goals and expectations. That will just burn you out. You need to keep your eyes on your vision and keep working until you get to your goal. Quitters are the only losers, and you can control that. Just don't quit, and you will win eventually. And that doesn't mean that you can't change your mind if something is just really genuinely not right for you and God's leading you in a new direction. But don't feel like I'm behind, I'm not reaching my goals, I thought this would happen faster, I'm just going to give up, I must have failed. No, don't do that. Keep going. Keep taking steps. Daily, intentionally. Keep taking steps. Make your dreams happen. They're worth it. Go for it. So, set your goals, block out your days, know your priorities, and then keep taking steps every day, and you will reach those goals. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. It is always an honor. I hope that this was helpful for you. I would love it if you would do all the things you need to do to make sure you continue seeing these. Make sure you subscribe, follow, give it some hearts, give it some thumbs ups, comment down below, ring those bells, all the things. Until next time, have a great day, and we'll catch you later.